So Operation Manna was the world's first airborne humanitarian food aid mission, and in fact became the blueprint for things like Berlin Airlift and as recently as the Sierra Leone airlifts. So in 1944-45, the Nazis had annexed the west of Holland as a reprisal for Operation Market Garden, or Arnhem as we know it. And they were essentially starving the population out. There was no food going in, there was no coal going in, and it also happened to be the coldest winter up to that point. And that winter is known as the Hongerwinter in Holland. So people were dying of starvation and cold. 20,000 of them, in fact, had already perished. And Queen Wilhelmina and Prince Bernhard approached Churchill and Eisenhower and asked for their help. And so they created Operation Manna. And it involved Lancasters flying out of Lincolnshire, dropping food aid across 5 drop sites across Holland. And there were teams of Dutch people there who helped distribute the food aid to the wider population. It was absolutely key critical to saving lives. It involved people from all sorts of different nations coming together to drop the food, and it's estimated it saved about 900,000 lives. The Americans joined on the 1st of May at the point of the ceasefire, and together with Operation Chowhound, which was their op, they delivered 12,500 tonnes of food aid.
Radio has been on the go now, roughly for 80 years. More than that. As you see from me, the Lincoln Shortwave Club was founded in 1921. It was much the sort of time when it was the edge of technology. Radio was being developed, and then over the years, of course, the commercial stations started to open. And before the Second World War, amateur radio took off as well, because a lot of people from all walks of life wanted to try their hand at transmitting using this new technology. But of course it was also happening all through the world, and basically radio amateur is an international hobby. We can operate right across the radio spectrum on the frequencies that we've been allocated by international agreement, and it is wonderful. Of course, other countries speak different languages. English is widely used, but there are so many different codes that we can use. We can still conduct a sensible voice communication using codes and abbreviations without knowing the language.
Willow, we are on the other side of the channel, and in fact not far away from the beach of The Hague, about 7 kilometers, if it's even that, so it's very close by the North Sea.
We've had a family day at the International Bomber Command Centre. They were doing some Manna-related activities and with the children up in their classroom upstairs.
Radio-uitzending door radio-amateurs. 3 dagen lang herdenken zij zo Operatie Manna. De voedseldroppings in Nederland in de Tweede Wereldoorlog.
Sierra November 80 Mike Alpha November, Operation Manna Special Event Station calling for CQ. CQ
Thank you. Operation Manna Special Event Station. Sierra November 80, Mike Alpha November. QRZ.
Radio is Q6, Yankee Tango.
Operation Manna was the operation that dropped 2 behind Nazi lines to the starving Dutch people in World War II. Back to you.
And I'm operating the special call for Brayton Airfield, which is an old RAF airfield from World War II. Glad to call into your special event station there. And you're 5 and 9 plus up into North Cumbria, over.
Golf Bravo 8 Bravo Alpha Foxtrot, this is Golf Bravo 80 Mike Alpha November. Today we're at International Bomb Command for the Manna 80th event. We're 5 and
Yeah, call sign is Golf Bravo 8 Mike Alpha November Special Event Station at RAF Binbrook, QSL.
Oh, great. Yes, just wanted to link to the space spot Binbrook as well. Golf Bravo 8 Mike Alpha November. Hello. You're over at RAF Binbrook, is that correct? Over to you.
Yeah, Roger. The Operation Manna operation from RAF Binbrook, that's correct. Name is Sean on the mic, and you're 5959 into Binbrook, over.
I just think it's wonderful, the commemorations you're doing. It's sending a lot of support locally here in CK6.
Spent 3 years in the Army, soon he turned 21, he hopped off and got into the Air Force. He turned up at Binbrook, but unfortunately, I guess from my point of view, he got there late, and he lived to tell the tale, so yeah, much appreciate all of what they did. They did know a lot of what they're doing. Poor fellas who went out there thinking good. It's a horrible thing, but they all survived it. Yeah, we're better for it. Over.
I'd just like to let you know that yesterday I met a gentleman who is now 85, who as a 5-year-old remembered Operation Manna, and he remembered seeing the aircraft flying very low over the land and dropping the food parcels. It was very exciting to meet someone that's actually been there and experienced this wonderful humanitarian gesture. Over.
What a commemoration. Just thinking back, I would just like to make only 2 points. The crew and the people who've been in the war all the time doing something which they don't like, because none of us like war or none of us like causing damage to anyone. They doing an act of dropping food is a special sense for them, where it would have definitely helped them heal from whatever they have felt. So that's something which just touches the heart when you think about it. This process was helping people who were starving and help people heal from whatever they've been through for years. The second thing, in my culture, my father, my grandfather has always told me the biggest service you could do in your life is feed someone. And that service has been provided with such a historic thing, and this commemoration really reminds us how important it is to look after people. As Dave said, none of us want war, and hopefully we should all pray and hope for peace around the globe. Thank you for having me, and I will carry this memory for the rest of my life. Thank you once again.
Told that the Germans had refused safe passage, and we were not to fire upon them unless we were fired on. And then off we went, and we were very low, and we made parachutes from our handkerchiefs, and we put the aircrew ration of chocolate in these and threw them out of the rear turret for the children. But we could see them waving, we could see adults waving, some of them were crying, and it was a very touching occasion. And then as we dropped the food, the underground were waiting to run out and pick it up. And then as we left the Dutch coast, there was a sea threat, and we hadn't gone very far when we were completely flying blind, and there was a big blinding flash, and one of the aircraft in front of us had obviously flown into the sea and blown up, which was really a sad end to a very successful day.
So that's the first memory there. Owen, back to you. Papa Hotel 80 Mike Alpha November Golf 3 Whiskey Bravo Quebec stroke Alpha.
The other question that people are asking right behind me is what level were you flying? What was the level of flight over the ground level, QSL?
Okay.
Well, the official record says 500 feet, but I looked out of the Astrodome and I saw a church steeple above us, so it's much more likely we were 50 feet above the ground and not 500 feet.
G3WBQ stroke A, over.
Yeah, Roger, that's the difference between 500 versus 50 feet. I think if I convert that, it's about 15 meters over ground level. I suppose you can see the people in their eyes, so to say.
We could have recognised anyone if we'd known them. We could see people waving. We could recognise the children. Yes, it was so low. Yeah.
Yep, that was a marked event. So I took my father to the 75th memorials at Lincoln Cathedral 5 years ago, and there were several Dutch people there, and one Dutch woman insisted on coming over to speak to my father and said, I must give you a kiss, I must kiss you, because the rest of my family had all died of starvation and then you brought the food, and you saved my life. You saved my life. So she is apparently over in England again this weekend, and so we hope that she will be at IBCC station in Lincoln, and she can talk to my father again and send him another kiss over the airwaves, this time for the 80th. G3WBQ/A.
It's been fantastic to be able to bring those international links together again to commemorate the 80th anniversary and to enable children to be heavily involved from across those countries. It's part of a big education programme, but it's also stands for everything that we do. It's about community, it's about communication, it's about remembering and recognition.